Hello students. Last time we have discussed about reflection, laws of reflection. Now today first we will discuss some numerical, which is that for a light ray incident at an angle I on getting reflected, the angle of deviation is delta will be pi minus 2I. Now solution. Suppose it is a plane mirror and a light ray is incident on it at point AO. Then, according to Newton's law of motion, first we draw a normal perpendicular to the point of incidence, which is O. Suppose this angle is I, angle of incidence. Then, laws of reflection, this light will be reflected by making an angle R, which will be equal to the I. This is angle of reflection. Now, what will be the angle of deviation? Angle of deviation will be, if this light gets not reflected, then its initial direction was like this. So, this angle between original direction of light and reflected light is known as angle of deviation. And we have to prove that this angle of deviation delta is pi minus 2I. Now, it is clear if I write here A and it is as B, then angle AOB is 180 and it will be equal to sum of I plus this delta. So delta will be 180 degree minus 2I, or you can say delta will be 180 minus 2R, because I equals to R from the laws of reflection. Now second, a new topic is plane mirror. Plane mirror is formed by polishing one surface of a plane thin glass plate. It is also said to the silvered on one side like this. Suppose any thin transparent plate is polished at this side and it is thin transparent plate this forms a plane mirror and it is symbolically represented as like this. This dotted region is represent polished side and upper surface represent the reflecting side. Now, next example is for a fixed incident ray. If the mirror be rotated through an angle theta about an axis which lies in the plane of mirror and perpendicular to the plane of incidence, then show that reflected rays turns through an angle 2 theta in the same sense. Means what is asked in question? If the mirror be rotated through an angle theta, then the reflected ray turns through an angle 2 theta in the same sense. We have to prove it. Now, suppose a plane mirror M1 is as shown in figure, and a ray is incident on the surface of plane mirror. Suppose it is normal N1, and suppose the incident angle is phi. Then according to laws of reflection, the light gets reflected by making the same angle phi with the normal. Now what is question? Question is this: if we rotate this mirror by the theta angle. So suppose now we have rotated this mirror from the initial position by making an angle theta. Then now what will be the angle from which the reflected ray turns through? And it will be 2 theta as given in question. Now if the plane mirror is turned by theta angle, then the normal will also be turned from the theta angle. So when we draw a normal on this new position of plane mirror, then it will be something like this, and it will be at an angle theta from the initial normal. Now since the incident light ray is fixed, so now the new angle of incidence from the normal will be phi plus theta. So according to laws of reflection, now light gets reflected by making an angle phi plus theta with the normal. So suppose now light ray is reflected. This is new reflected ray, and it will be at an angle theta plus phi from the new normal. Suppose the initially normal was N1, and the after rotating mirror the normal is N2. So because now the angle between incident ray and this N2 is theta plus phi, so according to laws of reflection, the angle between this N2 and this reflected ray will be theta plus phi. So we have to find this angle, which is angle of deviation from the initial reflected ray. Now how can we find it? First of all, mark these different rays. Suppose this incident ray is A and the initially reflected ray was D. After rotating mirror, the reflected ray is now C, and this point of incidence is B. And this after rotating the mirror, the position of mirror was, suppose it is M2. Now we have to find the value of delta. Here if we find out the angle between ABC, then we can write as ABC angle as angle ABN1 plus angle N1BD plus angle DBC, and angle ABN1 is phi plus angle N1BD is also phi plus angle DBC is delta. So we get angle ABC as 2 phi plus delta. first equation. Now again we can write angle ABC as angle ABN2 plus angle N2BC. Also, since angle ABN2 is theta plus phi plus angle N2BC is also, so this become 2 theta plus 2 phi. Equation number 2. Now we can equate equation number 1 and 2, which is 2 phi plus delta equals to 2 theta plus 2 phi. So we get delta is 2 theta, which we had to prove. So what we observe, by rotating any mirror with the theta angle, the reflected ray will be rotated with 2 theta angle. This is hence proof now. Now next is image formation by plane mirror. First of all, we form an image of a point object. What is point object? Point object means that have no dimension. So suppose a mirror AB is there and any point object is placed here. Suppose it is O. Now for forming its image we require minimum 2 reflected light rays, and for 2 reflected light rays we require 2 incident rays. Suppose since it is a point object, it emits light rays in whole direction. Suppose a light ray is incident on this plane mirror by making an angle 90 degree with the plane mirror surface. So what will be the angle of incidence here? Since we know as from the definition of angle of incidence, it is the angle between incident ray and the normal. If we draw a normal here at this point, then it will be again this line. So here the angle of incidence will be 0. And since angle of incidence is 0, so from the laws of reflection, angle of reflection will also be 0. So the light will reflect in the same direction by retracing its path. So we get one reflected light. Now suppose a second light ray from this point object is incident on the plane mirror surface by making an angle theta from the normal. So from the laws of reflection, this will reflect in the same medium by making the same angle theta from the normal. This is the another reflected ray. Now as we extend these lines in the same side of mirror, then they will never meet. But as we extend these light rays on the other side of mirror, they will meet at a certain point, and this point will be, so for forming the image of any object we require at least 2 reflected rays, and at the intersecting point of that reflected rays we can get the image of object. Now this image will be virtual because the reflected light not meet actually at the point, but they appears to meet on the other side of mirror. So this image will be virtual. Okay, so now next time we will discuss how to form image by plane mirror of an extended object. Okay, thanks student.